I said, look how clear the water is. I just saw 2 fish just swim by. Couldn't tell if they were trout or not, but there's another one right there. Looks like fish here. That's a nice one here. I bet you that's that one I saw Sky on. He's gonna get another run out of him. Yeah. Woohoo! Beautiful fish. Beautiful trout. Drop shot dipping with streamers. Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mike at Northwest School of Fly Fishing, the old fish hobo. And today I'm continuing into a series on streamer techniques. So if you're new to the channel, we started here a few videos ago on streamer techniques. So again, you know, you can find all kinds of hundreds and hundreds of videos on streamer fishing. Heck, there's books and books on volumes on streamer fishing and articles in fishing magazines on streamer fishing. They're all over the place, and for the most part, it's helpful for all those things. But what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to key in instead of how to streamer fish so much, because you'll kind of get that as we go into this. But basically, so the techniques, the different techniques that we use in streamer fishing. So briefly, what streamer fishing is it's just really like lure fishing. If you're a spin fisherman, you tie on a spinner fish, like a panther martin or a Meps, you toss it out there, you let it sink, and you reel it back in. Streamer fishing is very much like that, because it's the effect on the trout, meaning what causes a trout to take a spinning blade, and what causes a trout to take your streamer is called an aggressive compulsive strike. And so typically, if you run a streamer by a trout and he doesn't get it on the first time, odds are he's not going to get it on the next time or that time after. So streamer fishing can be very fast. Again, one of the key questions is, when do I streamer fish? And that's a hard one to answer because it's a different answer for every different fly fisherman out there. Typically, I always have a dry fly rod, a nymphing rod or a drop shot rod, and I have a streamer rod in my rod locker. All three rods ready to go. And when do I streamer fish? It's really hard to say. Sometimes I just want to streamer fish and I take my rod out. Other times I'm not catching them on dry flies, I'm not catching them on nymphs, so let's try some streamers. Or a lot of times, and really what we're talking about in this situation is the river just looks to me like I can run some streamer through here and catch fish. So there's really not one defined answer to when to streamer fish. It's basically up to you. I will tell you though that the river will dictate to you exactly how you're going to streamer fish a river, and that's the whole theme of the video you just watched of me drop shot streamers. So when I'm looking at water and rivers, they're all different. This one's wide, this one's narrow, this one's deep, this one's shallow, this one's narrow and deep and shallow, this one's wide and shallow and maybe deep. All that it comes to my mind, you know, what kind of substrate on there, a lot of rocks and boulders. All these things are swirling in my mind as I decide how it is that I want to streamer fish that river, or what is the best technique for me to use. And in my particular case, in this series, is what I'm doing is I'm drop shotting a streamer. And when we talk about drop shotting is as old as the universe. And what drop shotting is, for you new guys out there, what drop shotting is you're simply putting the weight at the end of your leader, and then the flies in between. So most commonly for a new fly fisherman is we tie a nymph on, and then we put a couple split shot out here in front of the nymphs, and that's what we call classic nymphing or tie line nymphing. But drop shotting is the reverse. We have the weight on the very end of the leader, and then the nymph. In my case, the water that I'm fishing is narrow, a lot of rocks and boulders in there, and it's moving fast. But more importantly, when you put all those together, boulders, fast, and shallow, the best technique for me at that point in time is to drop shot. And how I'm doing that is I'm using a 10-foot fluorocarbon leader. It's just a regular Stren, Berkeley, P-line. I'm just taking, you get 3 big rolls and you get 350 yards to it for like $8-9. I'm just ripping off 10 feet. At the end of that, I'm tying it onto my fly line, and that will be a straight diameter leader. And about 2 feet up from there, from the very end end of the leader, I'm tying on a triple surgeon's knot. Triple surgeon's knot. So I take a piece of 12-inch piece of 12-pound fluorocarbon, I lay it in about two feet from the bottom of the leader, and I just tie that triple 3 times, and then I cut off the tag ends. That leaves a knot. So my whole leader is done. I have a 10-foot section of fluorocarbon, and from the very tip of the end of the fluorocarbon up is one knot. And that knot is now where I add my streamer. So what I want to do is I now want to take the same 12-pound fluorocarbon, and I want to tie a section of maybe 15 inches. Cut a section of 15 inches, and I'm going to tie that at the very end. I'm going to tie that onto my streamer, and then I'm going to come up with about 12 inches, and I'm going to tie a loop, cut it off, and now I have a 12-inch piece of monofilament. On one end is a loop, and one end is the leader, and then I'm just going to do a loop to fly connection. So I'm going to wrap around my leader, put the streamer through the loop, pull it tight, slide it down to the knot. Then I'm going to put the appropriate amount of split shot at the very end. I'm going to smash that split shot down into a pancake. So it's hydrodynamic, and there's more lead on the leader, and it smashes down tight, and I'm not going to hydrodynamically throw that lead off the end. We don't want to put a knot on there. So now that my leader's complete, at that point, then I'm just drop shot nymphing. I'm just flopping my lane out into the water, and I'm just bringing it through. And what's happening underneath is that lead is hitting those boulders and going over, and the same movement is happening to my streamer. And instead of my streamer going out that shallow, and I'm using, we're using bead heads and cone heads, and when I cast that out there, that streamer is going to go right down into the rocks and beat and bash those rocks down and get hung up. What this technique does is the lead's down on the bottom, and it's keeping my streamer swimming through the river up and down these rocks like that. And that's a great technique for that kind of water. So that I would say, if you're going to label this technique, it would be drop shot nymphing or drop shot streamer fishing. Now it's not how I always streamer fish, which is the whole point of this series on streamer fishing, is to really key in on these techniques, and they're tools in your toolbox. And so when I get to a river and I'm thinking about streamer fishing, or the river will just, boom, it'll just tell me this is a good place to really streamer fish, then I'm looking into my toolbox for the right tool for the right water, instead of doing the same thing every single time. Tie on a streamer, put a cone head on it, throw it out in the river, and some guys are using all kinds of sinking line and sink tip line. I don't use any of that stuff. It's all floating line, and I'm just going to let it drift through and pull it back. That's the normal way, and we don't want to get caught up in that normal way every single time we go out. We want to have certain tools to do the certain job, and the job I see in front of me right now on this river, the best tool for that would be this technique, and that's what this whole series is all about. And that's why I do it. So when I'm going to go streamer fishing, or I decide to use streamers on the river, I might be changing all the time. So I don't want to drop shot anymore. Well, then I just cut my tag or drop shotted streamer off, and now I just have a straight leader with a knot in it. So I tie a streamer on the very end of that, and I'm right back to that traditional form of streamer fishing. So that's a tool. There's going to be other tools in this series that I will give you on techniques and streamer fishing. This is two parts, second part of a series on streamer fishing, and we talked about 2 different techniques, and down the road we'll add a third and a fourth and so on. So hopefully, if you come to a river that really looks like streamer fishing, or you've heard or been told, yeah, they do streamers really well here, when you open up your box of streamers, your toolbox of streamers, you'll be able to pick the right one to do the right job and feel confident in your ability to catch those fish. Well, it's April, and I'm going to the river, and I hope to see you then.